In the sprawling metropolis of New Terra City, where towering skyscrapers meshed seamlessly with lush green spaces and the streets buzzed with the hum of hover cars and the chatter of diverse species, John Baxter lived a life that was fairly routine for a human. He worked as an engineer at Intergalactic Technologies, a firm specializing in the development of advanced propulsion systems used across the galaxy. His life was ordinary, structured, and predominantly human-centric, until the day he met Sari. Sari was a Zalarian, a species known for their ethereal beauty, empathic abilities, and a culture steeped in art and philosophy. Zalarians rarely ventured into human-dominated sectors, preferring the serene expanses of their homeworld, Zelar Prime. However, Sari was an exception. She was an ambassadorial aide on a diplomatic mission to foster better relations between humans and Zalarians. John's first encounter with Sari was purely coincidental and would have been unremarkable if not for the mishap that led to their meeting. It happened on a sunny Tuesday morning when John, absorbed in his thoughts about a new propulsion theory, accidentally bumped into Sari at a busy intersection. His coffee splashed over the both of them, creating a comical yet embarrassing scene as they stood amidst the bustling crowd, dripping in latte. "Oh no, I'm terribly sorry," John exclaimed, mortified, as he tried to dab away the coffee from Sari's luminous silken garb with his handkerchief. Sari, her large, opalescent eyes widening in mild surprise, then twinkling with amusement, responded in her melodiously accented voice, "It's quite all right. It seems our meeting was destined to be a memorable one." Her calm and warmth immediately eased John's embarrassment, and their initial awkward encounter quickly transitioned into an engaging conversation. John was fascinated by Sari's insights about the galaxy, her culture, and her strangely poetic perspective on even the mundane aspects of city life. In turn, Sari was intrigued by John's passionate explanations of human technology and his dreams of exploring the stars. The chance meeting lasted longer than either of them had anticipated, ending only when Sari had to leave for a diplomatic meeting. They exchanged contact information, and as she walked away, John couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary had just begun. In the days that followed, John and Sari met several times. Each meeting deepened their connection, as they explored not just the city together, but also shared thoughts on life, the universe, and everything in between. Sari introduced John to the complexities of Zalarian music and art, while John shared his favorite human pastimes and foods, delighting particularly in introducing Sari to the joys of spicy cuisine, which was a novel experience for her. John's world, once ruled by routines, was now invigorated by Sari's presence. He began to see his everyday surroundings through her eyes, as places filled with wonder and potential. Meanwhile, Sari found herself increasingly drawn to John's unbridled enthusiasm for life and his innate kindness. Their bond was strengthening, but both knew that challenges lay ahead. Sari's mission on Earth was temporary, and her responsibilities often pulled her away to attend to diplomatic duties that John only vaguely understood. The realization that their time together might have an expiration date loomed over them, adding a layer of urgency and poignancy to their growing relationship. As they navigated their cultural differences and the complexities of an interspecies relationship, they both understood that what they were building was rare and precious. They were determined to make the most of the time together, regardless of what the future held. This budding relationship, born out of a clumsy mishap and nurtured through shared experiences, was about to be tested by the realities of their very different worlds. Yet, in the heart of New Terra City, under the vast expanse of the starlit sky, John and Sari found themselves increasingly hopeful about the possibilities of a shared future. As they walked hand in hand, the city around them felt smaller, and the galaxy, with all its infinite mysteries and wonders, seemed just a bit more within reach. As John and Sari's relationship blossomed, so did their understanding of each other's worlds. John, ever the inquisitive engineer, was eager to learn more about Zalarian technology, which was fundamentally different from anything humans had developed. Zalarian technology was not only advanced, but also deeply integrated with their philosophy and arts, making it almost mystical in its operation. Sari, equally fascinated by human culture, often found herself at various human social gatherings, which John delighted in showing her. From loud, bustling sports events to quiet, intimate poetry readings, Sari experienced the wide spectrum of human emotions and expressions. Each event brought new insights into the complexities of human nature and helped Sari appreciate the diversity of Earth's culture. One evening, as they walked through a lively cultural festival in New Terra City, Sari's attention was drawn to a group of street performers. They were enacting a traditional human folktale about star-crossed lovers, a theme that resonated deeply with both her and John. As they watched, Sari leaned over to John. "It's remarkable, isn't it? How love is a universal theme yet expressed so uniquely across cultures," Sari mused, her eyes reflecting the festival lights. John nodded, squeezing her hand gently. "Yeah, it's one of those things that everyone, everywhere can relate to, no matter how different they are." Their conversation deepened as they discussed the nuances of Zalarian and human love stories. John learned about the Zalarian legend of Lyra and Solon, two stars in the galaxy that were fated to orbit each other for eternity, but never meet. Sari, in turn, was moved by human tales of perseverance and triumph in love against all odds. As the night wore on, they found a quiet corner in a small, cozy cafe overlooking the festival. Over cups of steaming coffee, now safely away from any potential spilling accidents, Sari brought up a topic that they had cautiously danced around. "John, there's something we need to talk about," Sari began, her voice serious but calm. "My mission here is temporary. I've been reassigned to a new diplomatic role on Zelar Prime. It starts in 3 months. John's heart sank. He had feared this conversation, aware of the impermanence of Sari's stay on Earth, but hopeful it wouldn't end so soon. He took a deep breath before responding. "I know. And I've been thinking about this too. What if I came with you to Zelar Prime?" He proposed hesitantly, unsure of how she would react. Sari's eyes widened in surprise, a mixture of happiness and concern evident in her expression. "John, do you understand what that would mean? Living on Zelar Prime is not like visiting. It's a whole different world, literally. Our ways are not easy to adapt to. I want to try, Sari. I want to understand your world as you have tried to understand mine. We can figure this out together," John insisted, his determination clear. Sari smiled, touched by his commitment. "We'll need to plan carefully. There are so many things to consider, cultural, environmental, political. It won't be easy." John nodded. "I know, but I think it's worth it, don't you?" "Yes, I do," Sari affirmed softly. From that moment, their relationship took on a new dimension. They began to plan for John's potential move to Zelar Prime, discussing everything from the practicalities of interstellar travel to the intricacies of Zalarian social etiquette. Sari explained the challenges he would face as a human in a predominantly Zalarian world, from the high-gravity environment to the complex social hierarchies. Meanwhile, they continued to savor their remaining time on Earth. John introduced Sari to his family and friends, who welcomed her with open arms and endless curiosity about her culture. Sari, in turn, arranged for John to meet with other Zalarians living on Earth to help him prepare for his eventual integration into her society. As they navigated these new and exciting challenges, their bond grew stronger. They were no longer just lovers from different worlds, but partners facing a future that was uncertain yet filled with possibilities. As they looked ahead, they knew they were on the brink of an adventure that would define their lives forever, transcending the boundaries of planets and cultures. As the date of Sari's departure drew closer, John immersed himself in learning about Zelar Prime. He studied the language intensively, familiarized himself with the planet's customs, and even began adapting to a simulated higher-gravity environment to prepare his body for the physical conditions he would face. Meanwhile, Sari coordinated with her superiors to facilitate John's transition, a process fraught with bureaucracy and skepticism from her government about the integration of a human into their society. Their evenings were spent discussing what life would be like on Zelar Prime. Sari described the cities that spiraled like giant sculptures toward the sky, the vast libraries dedicated to the arts and sciences, and the public forums where philosophical debates went on for hours. It's not just a place, Sari explained one night as they walked under the starlit sky of New Terra City. It's a way of being, deeply connected to our traditions and communal ethos. John, for his part, shared his aspirations and fears about leaving Earth. I'm excited, but also a bit scared, you know? It's one thing to visit another planet as a tourist, and quite another to live there, to become part of its fabric, he admitted. Sari took his hand, her touch reassuring. You won't be alone, she promised. I'll be with you every step of the way. And who knows, perhaps your perspective as an outsider will bring new insights to our community. The day of departure finally arrived. John's family and friends gathered at the spaceport to bid him farewell. There were tears and laughter, promises to keep in touch, and lots of photos taken. John felt a pang of nostalgia and a surge of anticipation as he stepped onto the spacecraft, the threshold between his old life and his new future. The journey to Zelar Prime took several weeks, during which John and Sari attended briefings with the diplomatic crew. The ship itself was a marvel of Zelarian engineering, powered by energy harvested from cosmic strings, and adorned with artworks that made even the utilitarian corridors seem like gallery spaces. Upon arriving at Zelar Prime, John experienced a moment of awe. The planet, with its swirling silver clouds and cities that glittered like jewels, was breathtakingly beautiful. As they descended into the atmosphere, Sari pointed out landmarks and explained their significance, her voice filled with pride and excitement. The initial weeks on Zelar Prime were a whirlwind of activity. John underwent a formal reception by the Zelarian authorities, who were politely reserved but visibly curious about the human who had chosen to join their world. He was tested on his language skills, his adaptability to the environment, and his understanding of their customs. Meanwhile, Sari introduced John to her family and friends. Unlike the formal and somewhat stiff official welcome, these personal introductions were warm and filled with genuine interest. Sari's family, in particular, embraced John with an affection that moved him deeply. However, not everything was smooth sailing. John struggled with the subtle nuances of Zelarian communication, where much was conveyed through empathic links, a mode of interaction that he could only intellectually understand but not fully participate in. He also found the gravity physically taxing, despite his preparations, and the diet, rich in local flora and fauna, was challenging to adapt to. Moreover, there were those in Sari's community who viewed his presence with skepticism. Some traditionalists questioned the wisdom of integrating a human so closely into their society, concerned about the dilution of their cultural heritage. John was acutely aware of their stares and the whispered conversations that stopped when he approached. Despite these challenges, the couple found joy in their shared journey. They explored Zelar Prime's vast landscapes, from its crystal forests to its magnetic seas, and attended cultural events where John gradually began to appreciate the depth of Zelarian artistry and philosophy. One evening, as they sat watching the sunset from the balcony of their new home, Sari leaned against John. "How do you feel?" she asked gently, "now that you are worlds away from everything you knew?" John looked out over the cityscape, its structures glowing softly in the twilight, and squeezed Sari's hand. "It's been challenging," he admitted, "but I found beauty and kindness here too. I'm learning, growing. I guess that's what life is about, isn't it? Finding your path, wherever it leads." Sari smiled, her eyes reflecting the last light of the sun. "Yes, and creating new paths together." Their journey was just beginning, a tapestry of love, learning, and integration weaving together into a new life on Zelar Prime. As they faced the future, with its inevitable challenges and boundless possibilities, they knew they would navigate it together, their bond a bridge between two worlds. Life on Zelar Prime became a delicate dance of adaptation and integration for John. Each day brought new lessons in Zelarian etiquette and deeper insights into a culture that valued collective harmony and philosophical depth over individualistic pursuits. For John, an engineer used to solving problems through technology and personal ingenuity, this represented a fundamental shift in thinking. Meanwhile, Sari worked diligently to smooth John's transition, facilitating his interactions with local communities and defending the value of his contributions to skeptical peers. She arranged for him to participate in community projects, where his engineering skills could help solve local problems. These projects not only showcased John's abilities, but also gave him a platform to demonstrate his respect for Zalarian ways. One such project involved the restoration of an ancient aqueduct system that had fallen into disrepair. John proposed a blend of human and Zalarian technology to enhance the aqueduct's efficiency while preserving its historical integrity. The project was met with mixed reactions. Some admired the innovative approach, while others viewed it as an unnecessary intrusion of alien ideas into Zalarian traditions. The project's completion was a turning point. It significantly improved water distribution to a drought-stricken region, earning John a measure of grudging respect from many of his detractors. However, this success also intensified feelings of unease among the cultural purists, who feared the dilution of their heritage. Amid these professional challenges, John's personal life was also evolving. He found joy in the daily routines he shared with Sari and was gradually forming friendships with their neighbors. The couple often hosted gatherings at their home, where discussions about art, science, and philosophy lasted well into the night. John was fascinated by the Zalarian way of merging scientific inquiry with philosophical pondering, a stark contrast to the often compartmentalized thinking he was used to. However, not all was smooth in his personal interactions. At a significant cultural festival, John unintentionally breached etiquette by misinterpreting a ritual gesture. The incident caused a minor scandal, and despite Sari's efforts to mediate, it left John feeling alienated and questioning his place among the Zalarians. Sari, seeing John struggle, organized a small ceremony with close friends and family to reaffirm their support for him. It was a traditional Zalarian bonding ceremony, adapted to include elements from human culture. This gesture of integration touched John deeply and reaffirmed his commitment to making his life on Zelar Prime work. As the seasons changed on Zelar Prime, so did the political landscape. A new proposal was brought before the Planetary Council to expand the role of non-Zalarians in public affairs. Sari, leveraging her diplomatic skills and John's growing acceptance, became an advocate for this change. The debate around this proposal became a litmus test for how deeply Zelar Prime was willing to embrace its increasingly diverse population. John decided to participate more actively in the public debate, sharing his experiences and the benefits of a more inclusive approach based on mutual respect and shared benefits. His speech at a council meeting was broadcasted widely, sparking intense public debate. "Embracing diversity is not about losing our identity but enriching it," John argued, his voice steady and sincere. "What I've learned from my time among you is that at the core of our cultures lies a common desire for community, understanding, and growth. By weaving these threads together, we strengthen the entire fabric of our society." The council's decision was narrowly in favor of the proposal, marking a significant step forward in the cultural integration on Zelar Prime. However, it also highlighted the deep divisions that still existed, underscoring the challenges that lay ahead. John and Sari continued to navigate these complexities, their relationship a symbol of the potential for unity amidst diversity. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with more challenges, but they also saw a future filled with possibilities. Together, they were committed to building a bridge between worlds, a task daunting yet full of hope. As they looked to the future, they were prepared to face it together, their love a beacon guiding their way forward. As John and Sari continued to navigate their intertwined lives on Zelar Prime, the ripple effects of the Council's decision to involve non-Zalarians more deeply in public affairs began to manifest in various ways across the planet. This shift opened new doors for John, who was now invited to participate in high-level discussions on infrastructure and interplanetary trade, areas where his engineering expertise and unique human perspective were increasingly valued. However, with these opportunities also came challenges. The more John became involved, the more he found himself under scrutiny by those who remained skeptical of his influence on Zalarian society. Despite this, John's commitment to contributing positively and respectfully to his new home drove him to persevere, bolstered by Sari's unwavering support and the growing number of Zalarians who appreciated his efforts. During this time of adjustment, John and Sari took to exploring more of Zelar Prime together, using their travels as a way to escape the pressures of city life and the intensity of political debate. On one such excursion to the famous Crystal Lakes, so named for their clear, reflective waters that mirrored the sky in stunning clarity, John proposed an initiative that would combine human technological insights with Zelarian environmental technology to preserve the natural beauty of the planet while enhancing access to natural resources. Sari, seeing the potential for this project to serve as a bridge between cultures, encouraged John to present the idea at the upcoming Environmental Summit, an annual event that drew scientists, politicians, and activists from across Zelar Prime. Preparing for the summit, John worked diligently with a team of Zelarian environmental engineers, crafting a proposal that emphasized sustainability and respect for native traditions and ecosystems. The presentation was a success, sparking interest and lively discussion among the summit attendees. John's project was approved for a pilot phase, marking a significant victory for him, and for those who supported greater integration of diverse ideas and practices on Zelar Prime. Meanwhile, Sari was navigating her own challenges. Her role as a diplomat was evolving, with more responsibilities that included fostering interspecies relations beyond Zelar Prime. Her success with John had not gone unnoticed, and she was now seen as something of an expert in managing cultural integration. This recognition, while affirming, also placed additional pressure on her to succeed in an increasingly complex and scrutinized role. The couple found that their home became a refuge where they could discuss their successes and frustrations openly, supporting each other unconditionally. It was during one of these evening discussions, in the comfort of their living room with views overlooking the cityscape, that they realized the impact they could have together. "We're not just living here, Sari. We're making a difference," John noted, a note of awe in his voice as he considered their journey. "Yes, we are," Sari agreed, her hand finding his. "And we're showing that it's possible to maintain one's identity while embracing a new one. We are living proof that diversity can strengthen rather than divide." Encouraged by their progress and the support they were building, they decided to initiate a series of community forums aimed at promoting understanding and cooperation among various cultural groups on Zelar Prime. These forums became popular, turning into regular events that many looked forward to attending. They facilitated discussions on a range of topics, from technology and art to philosophy and governance, helping to weave a stronger, more inclusive societal fabric. As they watched their community engage in open and respectful dialogue, John and Sari felt a profound connection not only to each other, but to the world they were helping to shape. They knew challenges remained, but they also knew they had the support and resources to face them. Their journey had taught them that change is a constant, and adaptation and acceptance are key to not just surviving, but thriving. With each other's support, and the community they were building around them, they looked to the future with optimism and a firm belief in the power of unity and diversity. The path they had chosen was not the easiest, but it was rich with potential to foster a better understanding, not only on Zelar Prime, but across the galaxy. As John and Sari's community initiatives gained momentum, their influence on Zelar Prime continued to expand, weaving a richer tapestry of multicultural understanding that even skeptics began to appreciate. The forums they established had grown into a celebrated space of learning and exchange, fostering deep connections among diverse groups and promoting a shared vision for the future. Meanwhile, John's pilot project at the Crystal Lakes was showing promising results. The technology he introduced, which balanced human innovation with Zelarian environmental techniques, was not only effective in preserving the natural beauty of the area, but also in enhancing the local ecosystem. This success led to additional funding and plans to expand the project to other regions, further cementing John's reputation as a valuable member of the Zelarian community. The success of the Crystal Lakes project brought John and Sari into the limelight once more, this time as pioneers of a new kind of environmental stewardship that could serve as a model for other worlds within the Galactic Alliance. Their work was featured in several interstellar publications, sparking interest from other planets interested in their unique approach to cultural integration and environmental care. Amid their professional successes, John and Sari's personal life flourished. Their home became a cultural hub, a meeting place for thinkers, leaders, and artists from across the planet. Their relationship, strengthened by shared goals and mutual respect, had become a symbol of the harmony possible between disparate worlds. However, their journey was not without challenges. The broader acceptance they were beginning to enjoy also rekindled the flames of dissent among the more conservative factions on Zelar Prime. Some cultural purists persisted in their belief that too much external influence could erode the essence of Zelarian identity. This faction saw John's increasing prominence as a threat to their traditional ways of life, leading to a series of public debates about the balance between innovation and preservation. Sari, ever the diplomat, navigated these turbulent waters with grace and conviction. She organized a series of talks involving leaders from both progressive and traditionalist camps, aiming to find a middle ground that respected the planet's heritage while embracing beneficial change. John stood by her side, his own experiences as an outsider giving him a unique perspective on the importance of cultural sensitivity and respect. One of the most poignant moments came during a major cultural celebration, where John was invited to speak. Standing before a crowd of thousands, John shared his journey, from his first clumsy steps on Zelar Prime, full of missteps and misunderstandings, to his deep love for the planet and its people. "I came here as a stranger," John said, his voice echoing through the assembly, "but you welcomed me, not without hesitation, not without fear, but with a willingness to understand and to teach. We have learned from each other, grown together, and built something that neither of us could have achieved alone. Let us continue on this path, not just for us but for the generations to come." The speech was met with overwhelming applause, a clear sign of the shifting attitudes towards integration and mutual respect. It was a defining moment, one that underscored the progress the planet had made and the potential that lay ahead. As John and Sari looked out over the crowd, their hands intertwined, they felt a profound sense of accomplishment and hope. They had not only found love in each other, but had sparked a movement towards a more inclusive and understanding society. The future was still uncertain, with many challenges ahead, but they were ready to face them together, supported by a community that was slowly but surely learning to celebrate its diversity. Their love, once a curious anomaly, had become a beacon of possibility, illustrating that even across the vastness of space, hearts could find each other, and different worlds could unite under shared stars. As the celebration continued into the night, with music and laughter filling the air, John and Sari shared a quiet moment of reflection. They had come so far, and while the road ahead was uncharted, it was theirs to travel together, their hearts and hopes intertwined like the twin stars of Sari's favorite Zelarian legend, forever separate, forever one.